Good morning. Monday, January 11th, 2021. And here we are, together, ready to read the newspaper. I went out to the driveway to get my papers this morning. Actually, my wife did. I still can't walk that well. And in the plastic sleeve was just the Inquirer. And it seems to happen sometimes. Like, sometimes I get both the Inquirer and the New York Times in the same plastic sleeve. Other times, I'll just get the Inquirer in the plastic sleeve. Other times, the New York Times. Other times, them both separately. And sometimes they won't deliver them at all. Tis the nature of the subscription to a physical newspaper. It's like you're living in the, pre-internet age. Where where you are forced to rely upon a person delivering the news on their schedule, on their time, and in their own method. So this could be a quick one because we just had the Inquirer today. The New York Times could come as we speak, but we'll start with our separation process. Monday's paper. Grace is downstairs, by the way, having her breakfast, so she might join us midway through if this lasts long enough for such a thing. And sports. It does look like a pretty quick read today, everyone. Bear with me. I will start with the front section. A little stuffy this morning, but I'll be all right. Still talking about storming the Capitol. Now we're talking about the fallout. Pressing for accountability. Dems aim to impeach as Toomey urges resignation. Officer resigned after allegedly attending the D.C. rally. Philadelphia police detective from the unit that investigates the backgrounds of potential recruits has been temporarily reassigned based on a tip that she attended the rally in Washington where President Donald Trump incited his followers to storm the Capitol. Detective Jennifer Gugger was removed from her position in the police department's Recruit Background Investigations Unit on Saturday after Internal Affairs received social media posts indicating that she had been at the Wednesday event, departmental sources said. All right, so if she was there, that's one thing. We got to determine if she was involved. And of course, it all comes down to social media posts. What did she say on her Facebook page that could get her in trouble? Let's see. She screenshot of a post that's since been taken down. Gugger, using the name Jenny Lynn, tagged friends she said were at the rally and posted photos of the Washington Monument and a small crowd on the street. Hashtag Stop the Steal. Drinking beers with fellow patriots. I don't see Jenny in these photos, but they're just more pictures of the ruckus. It's not Jenny, it's... Yeah, Jenny. Jennifer, whatever. So, what I was saying was, she being there is different than she being a part of it, obviously. So, I mean, reading through her posts, yeah, I question whether or not that's the kind of police officer you want. The friends whom Gugger tagged later posted videos of the crowd as it amassed outside the Capitol, with one friend described as being near the Capitol steps when insurrectionists breached the building. That friend wrote in a post that the only people looking to start trouble were, quote, a few Antifa scumbags wearing Trump stuff, walking toward the Capitol with bats. Yep, Gugger agreed. She also had a Facebook profile picture with a reference to the QAnon conspiracy movement. Her picture on her profile was a letter Q under the photo with the words, "The storm has arrived." All right, so there's a difference. Again, I kind of keep saying it. If you go to the rally and you just hang out in the outskirts, don't take pictures of yourself, and even if you do, like, you're allowed to be at a rally, you're allowed to be at a protest. I would watch how I describe the protest and my beliefs around the movement if I'm a police officer or any other public figure. But it doesn't matter how many people, careers, lives, everything else derailed by the internet, still keep at it. Keep saying things, keep posting things, keep live streaming things that could get them in trouble. Disparities in who gets the vaccine. 43% of care workers, facility residents in the city were white. People might say what I just said. They might say, "You're just a cancel culture person. You just want everybody. You want us to walk on our tiptoes and treat everybody like snowflakes and all blah 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 blah." I keep saying this. I'm gonna say it again. What you post on Twitter and Facebook and whatever else, it's not yours. How people respond to it, not up to you. It's not your right to say whatever you want. It just isn't. I get the First Amendment, I get all that stuff. But if you post something and the company loses money from it, doesn't like it, or people who read it take offense and dime you out, the fleeting satisfaction of likes or your close circle's appreciation of your witty post, text them. Start a text thread. Keep it off the public realm. The medium is the message. Philadelphia officials said Wednesday that of the 28,476 people who have been immunized at city health facilities, 43% were white, 12% were black, 10% were Asian, and 10% reported their race as other. The city's population is about 34% white, 44% black, 15% Hispanic, and 8% Asian. The vaccine is still largely available only to healthcare workers and residents of nursing homes and long-term care facilities. I don't know. I mean, if you start with a group and that group happens to have a lot of white people in it, how do you balance? If your group is supposed to be essential workers, high priority personnel like medical staff, EMTs, etc., if they're white, I mean, it's not good optics, but what more can you do? You're just choosing a group of people. You know, I guess you could try to make it more inclusive by expanding that group's parameters some. I don't know the solution there. States support lack of a vaccine plan. Capitol lockdown exposure possible. The attending physician to Congress said House members may have isolated with someone infected. Op-eds and letters to the editor pages. Let's see what kind of letter writers we have today. We have Leonard Perryman from Philadelphia, censuring is best. Rob Drost, Yardley, Why Republicans should vote to impeach. Dr. Stephen E. Glouser, Elkins-Port, open insurrection. Jeff Ettinger, Huntington Valley, stop the hypocrisy, Thiessen. Taking on Mark Thiessen's article, in which he rightly opines that Donald Trump lost the Georgia senatorial election for the Republicans, and therefore the Democrats will now have control of the presidency and both branches of Congress. At the beginning of the second paragraph, he states, "This is a catastrophe. Democrats are set to preside over a one-party state. They can eliminate the filibuster and pass radical legislation without compromise or concession. They will pack the courts, ... Where has Thiessen been the past 4 years? For the first 2 years of Trump's presidency, Republicans had the same control that Thiessen decries now. They suspended the filibuster, packed the courts with conservative judges recommended by the Federalist Society, passed a tax cut that mainly profited the wealthy, and nearly overturned the Affordable Care Act. Thank you, John McCain. Is it okay if the government is totally under Republican control? If it is okay, but the same does not apply to Democrats. Brutal politics of angry white men. Dun, dun, dun. I've become much more aware of my the potential of mansplaining and just coming across as an angry white man. It's you know, it's well reasoned, legitimate criticism. I've noticed it too. People I work with, others that I interact with, white men. It's like, all right, man, like, stop talking. I got it. Like, you don't have to ride herd. Make sure everybody understands what's going on, because the white guy at the top, or the white guy towards the top, laying it out for us. Like, we got it, based upon the PowerPoint. Angry white male rage was on full display. This is by Chad Dion Lassiter. He's the executive director of the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. Angry white male rage was on full display Wednesday afternoon. Hundreds gathered determined to upend the democratic process and reinstate their failed leader who embraces the tenets of white supremacy. Many of these men are bound by the hazy notion that their privilege as whites has been usurped and their status as men is being marginalized. Academics will spend decades examining the carcass of the siege on the U.S. Capitol, trying to understand what set it off. Here's what the historians, apologists, and sociologists will find. White male rage has long been appeased at the price of African Americans' lives and livelihood. We were the sacrificial offering in a class war that kept working white men's anger from turning on the whites who held political and economic power. From 1619 until the present day, blacks have been forced to live within a world where white men, in the name of protecting their way of life, were allowed to brutalize anyone they felt was a threat. For marginalized people, including LGBTQ folks, religious minorities, and especially African Americans, the system to appease white men was toxic but so prevalent that it became normalized. And when those who suffered under its breathtaking jackboot protested, white America refused to see its brutality. As the Equal Justice Initiative puts it on their Segregation in America website, white segregationists were not banished or shamed. They were respected and elected to some of the highest levels of national authority long after the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. 1 second. Read it. Because all of this is covered in this. And it is phenomenal work. It is incredible work, this piece. Shia Isabel Wilkinson. I ignore this Oprah Book Club sticker. I wish I could peel it off, but they fixed it as part of the cover itself. Can't even take it off. It's not even a sticker. It's printed on the actual jacket. Oprah Book Club. Can't stand it. But it's not worth ignoring the book over. This is a must read. Anyway, all this stuff he's talking about, she delves into it in great detail, unearths it on her own in an absolutely compelling. It's just great. Anyway, the combination of the people who proudly proclaim racial ideology and white supremacy implicates these institutions and undermines the notion that racial equality has been achieved. What we saw on January 6th was a breach of the protection wall, shielding white Americans from the worst of their compatriots' rage. We saw that rage turning inward, white on white. It was the roosters coming home to roost. Among the many reasons for white students to study African American history, it is to prepare for a moment such as now. It teaches that nothing in America is more dangerous than aggrieved white men. In a frenzy, freed men have been kidnapped and re-enslaved, cities bombed and burned, and innocent people have been lynched. And with each injustice, too many to tally now, the pillars of democracy crumble a little more. Students learn the moral of the long arc of Black American history. A just and equitable democracy is our country's best, perhaps only, bulwark against the violent injustice that would destroy us. The significance mustn't be lost that the day the mob stormed the rotunda demanding representation without electoral victory, Georgians had voted to send their first black senator to Capitol Hill. Some media reports mistakenly have portrayed it as a win for African Americans, when it is a win for anyone who wants a peaceful democracy to triumph. Stacey Abrams, who joined with other organizers statewide to lead a valiant fight against voter suppression, a favorite tool of white supremacy, had taught the entire country a lesson about the power of the vote for peaceful change. History also told us that this day, one of an insurrection at the Capitol, which would overshadow a massive political victory for Black Americans, was coming. White anger doesn't dissipate, but regroups. White opposition to the civil rights movement was equally ugly, as aggrieved with whites feared losing privilege and status, and set out to turn the clock back 100 years. Racist politicians enjoyed support from the majority of white voters. The Ku Klux Klan claimed many of the South's most prominent and powerful citizens as members, and white perpetrators of vicious attacks on black people were regularly acquitted by all-white juries, according to the Equal Justice Initiative. The battle for white supremacy reproduces itself each generation. But in this chapter, white leadership is confronting angry white men. The threat to our democratic way of life must be met not with appeasement, but by bringing angry white men into the republic on equal footing with the rest of we, the people. Now we have to wait for the authentic leadership to get us there. Who's going to step up? Okay. Front section. Finished. Let's take a look at, let's go back to sports. Peterson's job could be on the line. Rookie awards. Coach putting Voracek on notice. Hey V, get your act together. That's what Elaine Vigneault. That's what V is saying to V. Yesterday we had Baltimore beat Tennessee 2013. We had New Orleans beat Chicago 21-9. And in a late game we had Cleveland 45. Pittsburgh, I don't remember, 30-something? 38? High scoring affair. Go Brownies! On Saturday, we'll see the Rams take on the Packers at 4:35, and we'll see the Ravens play. We'll see the Ravens play the Bills, 8:15. On Sunday, we'll see Cleveland take on Kansas City, 3:05, and Tampa Bay Bucks, Brady versus Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints. Doug Peterson's future with the Eagles remains uncertain after an initial meeting with owner Jeffrey Lurie failed to settle issues about the direction of the team, NFL sources told the Inquirer. ESPN was first to report that the Eagles' coach's status was, quote, not firm, and that he could be fired if Lurie isn't, quote, confident about Peterson's vision going forward after the two meet again soon. Hi, Doug. Listen, let's meet. We're going to sit down right now, talk about some things. Afterwards, we'll see where we stand. They have the conversation, have some coffee, they have a couple croissants, who knows? Maybe it's an afternoon meeting, so they have some chicken salad sandwiches. And then afterwards, Lurie's like, that meeting just wasn't that great. I just don't feel good about that meeting. It was kind of eh. We're going to have a second meeting. Bring your A game to the second meeting so I can get a sense that I can get confident about your vision moving forward. Because right now, this meeting was weak. Wasn't your best performance. Can I get that sandwich back? All right. See you next week. Saints win sets up showdown for the aged. Instead of ages, aged. He's going to get a 42-year-old Drew Brees. He's going to celebrate his birthday on Friday. And how old is Brady these days? How do they not tell you in an article about old men quarterbacks playing each other? How do they not mention Brady's age? Come on, editors. I think he's 41 or 42 as well. Today's weather, high of 42. Today's games, Sixers taking on the Hawks. Am I correct with that? Yep, 7:30 with half a squad. Almost a forfeit game. Although the Hawks are, let's look at the record, see what the Hawks say. We might have a chance to get if they're a piss poor team. 4-5. So could be another loss. Okay. Sports done. Business. Who will pick up past due bills? Nearly 1 million PA customers were late on their utilities, but few have been disconnected. The home fitness surge. The pandemic saw workout gear sales skyrocket while gyms were hit hard. Carrying Vicky hoops for Mom. I haven't really talked about it, but I also sometimes stop at this. Monday's child, Tuesday's child, whatever day's child. It is features of child that's looking for a foster home. Anyone who can maybe help take in or know someone that could take in Vicky, contact Sarah Marino at SMARINO@adopt.org or 267-443-1872 to learn more about Vicky. She's polite and charming. She's 12. She takes pride in helping those around her. She's always interested in the well-being of loved ones. She's expressed being eager to assist her future family in the kitchen. She can make apple pies from scratch already. Vicky excels at working with her hands, like styling Barbie hair, drawing, and coloring. She has filled countless notebooks with her artwork. Vicky enjoys going to school and learning. Her favorite subject is science, and she aspires to be a nurse one day. Vicky's recruiter, Lynn Moyer, recalls a visit when her supportive spirit shined through. When connecting virtually, Vicky invented a game of trying to guess what the other person was saying without sound. Even though I never got it right, she always said I did. Vicky is excited to find her forever family and the unconditional love that comes with it. She most hopes for a mother. She hopes her future family will travel and have fun together. Incredibly sweet and compassionate, Vicky deserves a nurturing family to help her thrive. Best of luck, Vicky. Wish we could help you, but we have a lot right now on our hands. Maybe one day. We may one day get there where we want to take in a child. We have a lot of needs already in this house with a child with Rett syndrome. So, not that it's an excuse to not help Vicky, but we got to get our own bearings straight in here. But I wish Vicky the best of luck. Oh, just the boost that we needed. Here comes our special guest. Oh! Here comes a special guest. Say hi to Marley. Hey, Marley, this is your debut. It's the TV channel, or the channel is called Reading Newspapers with Grace, but I'll let you sneak in for this one section, the region. Okay? Get you sitting on my lap when we do that, you think?
Bring Grace back up.
I'll just do this. I'm almost finished. Got one more section here. Marley can join me. You think you can take Grace's spot just for the day? Just for the morning? Okay. Region. Right, Marley? Marley, wouldn't you like to have a little sister like Vicky? You already have a sister. We'd have 3 girls in this house, plus mom, 4 girls. I just think it's so sweet that she makes her own apple pies from scratch. You know? And what else? And then she made up a a Zoom game. And she said that they were winning, or they won, even though they didn't, just to make them feel good. Right? That's really nice of Vicky. Alright, I saw this prof's use of Nazi salute is decried. I did see that already yesterday. Old man. An old man on a Zoom. Old white man on a Zoom call. Started screaming, saying Zig Heil. I don't even like saying it out loud. It could be taken out of context. Okay. It's this Tacony Hoagie shop. Owner of Fink's Hoagies. He's saying they're shaking me down. All these citations and fees for me not complying because I'm standing behind the counter of a hoagie shop preparing foods with no mask on. Look at me. Look at the guy behind me cutting cold cuts. Slicing cold cuts. Dabbling. That's funny. Dabbling, putting shredded lettuce on my hoagie. Gloveless. Maskless. Seriously, I'm looking at the guy back there. Not a mask on. He's got his boar's head hand. No precautions. Right, Marley? Not a single precaution. I have a weak edition today, but it actually helps you kind of get through it quicker. You know? And then we just kind of settle on our last kind of perusal here of the obits, our last traditional or daily. Looking at the obits. Rest in peace to Gene Bauer, age 89. To Wharton Biddle passed away peacefully in Jamestown, 92. An 87-year-old here, Mr. Charles Hemcher. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. Nice standing. 3 months old. You're already like getting your stand on. I love it. What else do you think? Oh, Frederick Joseph Schnadinger, 94, Wayne, PA. Passed peacefully. All right. Everyone here, rest in peace. Okay, folks, it was a fast one. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.